on.
No, I picked the right ones.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So,
what is it? Podcast Atlanta. We don't want to be on their YouTube stream.
Yeah. No, we're all
hi.
good.
We're live, and I'm already talking. This is the part of the show where I asked Charles, "Why aren't you hitting the button, Charles?"
Because I'm a good Southern boy, and I won't interrupt Mama while she's talking.
I am not your mama. I think you just called me old.
Stop! You ruined my count on the intros. Are you tired of being awesome alone? Or so are Tara and I. So we invited author Hollis Jo McCollum in. Let's go be awesome together. Oh, here we are bringing you a little bit of sunshine and happiness in the middle of the week.
Is that what we
and
are?
we're going to podcasting Charles McFall. We've got gentle, not the mama, Tara Burton. And what seems to be becoming our new best friend, somebody I think we both met her at Conjuration.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. I know I met you at Conjuration, but I think we both met you at Conjuration. Hollis Jo McCollum.
Hello.
Yay.
Yay.
That's like the southern form of Gollum, McCollum.
Yeah, it's the Irish spelling of a Scottish last name.
I like it. So you and I together were on the kickoff panel for Conjuration, I guess this last year, and we literally sat opposite each other in a half circle of people, and you I forgot the name of it already because you struck me as girls behaving badly, but not that. What was the name of your podcast?
It was my friend Alara and I, and we haven't done an episode in ages. But we do the Badass Banshee Energy Show, which is on YouTube. Yes. We have that one.
Y'all were like, yeah, we just say whatever we want. Like, go on, let's do more of this chaos, and it's amazing. And then your tag tonight, what?
You don't let me say what I want.
You get to say whatever you want.
Well,
not that though.
Don't say that. We're gonna get a little meatloaf in here. It's gonna be fine.
Oh.
And I love your tag tonight. Is Creator and Destroyer of Worlds, and Kaz says no Discord announcement. I thought did it automatically do the announcement after about a minute or two being live. Right? It might have been a little early, Jen.
No, it's
that's
on
all.
There. It's there. I just saw it.
And fun story. Okay, so we went to Pod Jam Atlanta this weekend. I will get my brain right here in a second. That's Valencia. Hello, Valencia. So Tyra and I worked with Mark Deal to put on Pod Jam Atlanta ATL this past Saturday. Went really well.
It was
We're
awesome.
Gonna get some clips put out and that kind of thing. And Valencia, who has been a long time listener and participator here live on Be Awesome Together, came out, and we learned that Tyra did not know her forever. I just gonna assume she did. That was all me. But then what was funny is in the middle of one of the shows, Kaz came in with her husband, and I got to wave, and that's about it. I didn't really get to speak to her. And she sat down, and at some point in the middle of the show, I look over, and Kaz is sitting next to Valencia. And I'm going, I guarantee you, because they didn't get time to talk to each other before the next, like, hey, who are you? How's it going? Before the next show started. I know neither one of them knows they're sitting next to each other. And then Kaz had to go do something. She's a very popular lady, and her and her husband are socialites in Atlanta.
They are.
Actually, her favorite bar is a really cool bar. She took me there one time. It's really awesome. The one where she had a beer named after her and all this is a really cool bar. She tells some really cool stories. But yeah, so sure enough, at the end of the show, I was like, Valencia, did you realize you're sitting next to Kaz? She's like, what? I missed Kaz? I was like, yeah, sorry. So fun stories.
And Valencia, we're lifelong friends as far as Charles knows.
Yeah. Twains. Yeah, Twains is the name of it.
Is it down in Decatur?
Midtown.
Midtown. Okay.
Glenwood?
I've heard of it. I've never been, but somebody else has told me about Twains.
I know. I feel like we should just go there.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So there. Okay. Nice seeing all of you. We gotta go get a drink.
We gotta go.
Never mind.
My liver doesn't work, so I'll do the DD. I was born with that gene. like your liver can't process alcohol. Otherwise,
well, at least you know.
Yeah.
Because dying's bad.
That's I mean, and I'm being dramatic, but I've never been drunk. I will take 3 sips and I will immediately start vomiting. My liver's like, no, how dare.
The sad part that nobody knows about Hollis is that she counts a 750 milliliter bottle as a sip. So that's because I have that gene too. If I drink 3 sips, I start vomiting as well.
Yeah. I mean, sip is very relative. It's a subjective term. Let's just,
it's like a pinch.
Just a sprinkle.
So going back to the conjuration, great interaction on the stage. It's fun times. Got to talk to you about finding the stories, which I'm going to fire up some of those, but talk to you about Be Awesome Together. And we passed each other on the panels and did not know. I mean, obviously I knew from talking to you, you and Ty were going to hit it off, well,
it's just crazy.
But it's that whole Disney villain, shirt that's borrowed from other things in pop culture. It says, history is never made by women behaving well. Yes, this is great. It's you two are in this club all day, but also Hollis is an author. Tyra is an author. Knew you'd love that. Turns out they've worked in some of the same places, and we can leave that for the pre-show. But it was like you've got so much in common. I think I'm just going to be over here and be producer today, and you guys talk. It's going to be fun.
My favorite thing is to break Charles, so let's make that our goal.
Oh no!
Let's do it. I'm ready.
You got your one in February. We're good.
It's a whole new month, Charles.
Let's go.
It is. Oh no.
I'm gonna do that like Hadouken photo, and I'm just like gonna blast at you, and you're gonna go off. I'm gonna Hadouken you.
Kids, that's a game reference. So.
You can be a girl and a gamer.
Mm-hmm. I
wouldn't explain it to her. I was explaining it to people who probably never played Street Fighter 2, like we did.
Like me.
Yeah. I'm a button masher, but surprisingly good at it. I'm one of those button mashers that's a button masher savant, and I'll figure out the fire uppercut or something, and then I'll just keep going, and I'll fire uppercut you into oblivion. I figure it out. I'm like, oh, I did that.
Meanwhile, I'm just trying not to get motion sickness or throw up.
Oh, you would have hated the game Descent.
Oh, no. Yeah. I couldn't even play. What's the name of it? So I've gotten older and now I can't remember anything.
Myst?
No. Angelina Jolie made a movie.
Tomb Raider.
Yes, I couldn't play Tomb Raider because it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
You vocalized singing?
No. Do you remember the game Jak and Daxter from the early 2000s? Yes, there was a scene. I forget what level it was. It was one of the kind of higher ones. It was a really good game, but it was you were going through on a little watercraft and you had to avoid rocks and go up, and it was all really fast. And I couldn't get through it because I kept getting vertigo every time. And it would get too dizzy every time I did that level. And I never beat the game, but that's okay.
I have we just started playing World of Warcraft again because I played since vanilla, and they have new flying, and I would like to explain to them in very unkind words what I think about the new flying that I can't turn off until I do a bunch of things that I have to use the flying to do. I'm going to puke.
Get your husband to do it for you.
He's not any better. I mean, he doesn't get motion sickness, but the flying mechanism is just not easy. So.
Get a gamer kid from YouTube or China or somewhere and just
remote access students to do it.
Have them do it. They can, do the thing where they go into your computer temporarily and
no, I don't trust any
that will only open you up to a lot of hacking. Right. It's fine.
It'll all be okay. Really. No worries.
That's
Random
my
stranger.
That is going to be my new Fiverr gig. I will log into your World of Warcraft and get you past the BS flying so you can turn it off. $5.
Yep.
Just give me your account.
$5 and all of your personal information. Don't worry about it.
Because I trust Charles.
You said it in the wrong tone, but you meant it.
Of course I do, honey.
That felt like a northern bless your heart almost.
What What is are we all Southerners? No, you're not a Southerner. You're a transplant.
I'm a transplant. My parents were both born and raised in Connecticut. So I definitely am more New Englandy than anything else.
So what is the bless your heart of New England? Or do they even care?
They don't really, we're just direct up north. So someone once said to me, a New Yorker, because, well, people always tell me I belong in New York, and frankly, I agree. I love that city. But they're New Yorkers aren't always nice, but they're always kind. And that's kind of something people don't get about people from the northern area. They're going to be direct with you. They might even seem a little rude, but if you fall down, a stranger will stop and help you.
Okay.
That doesn't always happen in other places. So they're not always nice. They're not always like please and thank you and all that, but they're always kind. And that's a difference. So, but the kindness doesn't necessarily, it's not accompanied by the niceties all the time. But it's very thoughtful up there. So they don't usually, if they have a snarky remark for you, it is not sugar-coated at all. They will you're being an idiot or other less PG,
more colorful
phrases.
And well, it's funny because there's other cultural differences. I worked with a lady from New York, and she was explaining something, and I got it in like the first 5 minutes, but I'm letting her go because I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to cut her off. Like I have found in my life, if I go, yeah, no, I get it. You told me step 1 and step 2. I get to 10. Let's go. People get pissed off. They want to be able to explain it to make sure you know it. So I'm just letting her talk. If I just goes, do you not understand? I'm like, yeah, of course I understand. I got it an hour ago. What are you talking about? So then why didn't you say something? Like, because you're talking and you're teaching me this. Like, okay, let me explain something. In the north, in New York, when you get it, you just jump right in. I was like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. No, I got it, idiot. Let's move on.
Yeah.
That's
like, yeah, exactly how it is.
Yeah.
You don't. You're not expected to sit and listen. You just are like, yep, gotcha, and then okay. And then the thing is, though, if you say gotcha and you didn't actually get it, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
That's fair.
Cut people off now sometimes. They look at me weird, like, you ever heard of New York? You just move on. So
my bestie's a New Yorker, and she is very sarcastic, and I don't get it at all. Like, and she did this thing once where she's like, "Why are we friends?" And I'm like, Jennifer!
You start listing off everything.
I'm like, what the? And she's like, I'm being sarcastic. I'm like, well, we need jazz hands.
Yes. you need a sign.
Sarcasm hands.
Tyra, do you have a high IQ? Because a lot of people are above the sarcasm gap. And that, if you don't get sarcasm, maybe your IQ is too high. Maybe you're too smart for it.
That could, I was in the honor. Anyway, moving on now, Tyrus. I'm very smart about some things and very obtuse about others. And that would be one of them. Like, I found out recently my husband's sarcastic. Nobody told me. I've been with him for 15 years.
Yeah, well, don't feel too badly. My older sister is, she's my sister is, she's a very famous American cosplayer, Heather After Cosplay. She does a lot of cons and things like that. She was known as H-Chan in the 90s anyway, but she's highly intelligent. She has a very high IQ. She's above the sarcasm gap. And that is fun as siblings. Yeah.
I can infer the science behind this thing, but now you've brought it up twice. You need to explain to everybody IQ and the sarcasm.
Because we overthink things.
Let's see. I think Genius is 141, 142 IQ. I think they lowered it at some point, but I do not honor that situation.
The dumbing down.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly where. I can't remember exactly where the sarcasm, but it starts around Genius level. So I think around maybe 145, 150 to and above is a sarcasm gap, meaning like Sheldon Cooper in Big Bang Theory, he didn't get sarcasm. He was too intelligent, like IQ of 200 or something nonsensical like that. But if your IQ, if you're above that, then sarcasm is not something that naturally clicks with you, and it has to be like almost a studied, learned behavior. And some people can get it, but it doesn't come naturally to you. And then there's also, you can be below the sarcasm gap, where if your IQ is below a certain amount, like average intelligence is around 95 to 100 in the IQ scale. And I think sarcasm, and I think if you're like below like 85 or something, you might be below the sarcasm gap, meaning for the completely opposite reason, you don't get sarcasm.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So you have the people in the middle, the, mostly average intelligence to like lower average to upper average, and very low genius level. Like, we get it. We're sassy. That's our love language. But
my bestie is very bright, but
my brother and I are very bright as well, and we are highly sarcastic.
But my husband is very supposedly sarcastic.
Yeah.
Okay, now you didn't finish that story. Your husband admittedly turns it way down or off when he's around you. She told me the story actually last night at dinner. It was the first time I heard the story. I'm like, he's never been sarcastic to me. And then, I'm always with you when I'm with him. So I wouldn't tell you he's sarcastic either.
Well, all my other friends that know him are like, yeah, he's sarcastic. I'm like, and I just looked at him. He's like, honey, I just don't do it around you. And I'm like, well, that's also sweet. And I can't tell if I'm insulted, but okay.
He just doesn't want to be like, I'm joking.
He just knows that I'll think he's being mean and be sad.
Yeah.
Because Jennifer did it like 5 times to me. And each time I just look at her like a puppy dog got kicked. So now it's a joke. But now I know it's sarcasm.
Aren't you glad I'm not sarcastic? My joke's more punch you in the face and sneak one in.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and how are you with dad puns? I mean,
I love them. Charles hates them.
Oh,
where?
I think
who's bribing
you, Charles?
Who got to you, Hollis?
Did Joe?
My father trained me well.
Ooh. Okay.
Do you know why seagulls don't fly over the bay?
No.
Because then they'd be bagels.
Oh.
That's fabulous.
Oh, I'm having so much fun.
And we just heard on Twitch that Charles loves bad Jack jokes. Bad. I can't even say it.
Oh, thank you, Devosite.
Yeah.
That was fabulous. We will need more.
That's my dad's favorite joke. Yeah.
It's a really good one.
My dad, I set him up when I was a teenager. He's a Baptist preacher, Southern Baptist preacher. And I was 15, 16. And I was like, Dad, you would hear a dirty joke? He's like, whatever his words, you better not. But they're like, no, I will tell you. He's like, you don't do it. It's like, here's my joke. You're going to listen. It's like, a white horse fell into a puddle or a mud puddle. And he's like, he thought that was funny, right? And I was like, okay, you want to hear another one? He was like, yeah. That told like the most racist joke I'd heard at school. And yeah, his face was y'all's faces. I thought it was a hilarious bit of chaos. He didn't laugh either, but he would love your stupid joke that you told.
This is why going live with Charles is always exciting.
You never know. You never know. I do have more but I'm gonna hit you and you're not expecting it. That's
Diva Site, stay tuned.
Yeah. I'm gonna just like shoot it at you, and I'll be like, where do you take a sick boat? To the dock? What? And you're gonna be really you're gonna
So why do you?
No, you take where do you take a sick boat? To the dock.
Oh, see, this is my problem. I sometimes take things exciting.
I said that one very quickly. I snuck it. I was trying to be like stealthy with it.
I am starting to regret trying to branch out to new people on the show.
No, really, he's just regretting branching out to new women on the show.
Now, let me be equal opportunity hater, not misogynistic. Come on.
Oh, no.
Come on.
Oh, Charles is never that. I would not put up with that.
Yeah. No, if I recall, at our kickoff panel, Hollis, you and your partner over there, your podcast partner, were the trouble.
Oh, I have no doubt that they were trouble.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, and Alara, Tyra, because wasn't she on one of your?
She was on Geek Meet Social.
Yeah, like last year sometime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right before Dragon Con. She's adorable. I love her so much.
Yeah, she's lovely. Yeah,
Speaking of the DCon, Hollis, you go to Dragon Con?
I actually used to go to Dragon Con way back when it was at the Mart. The first Dragon Con I went to was
all right.
Sometime, oh crap, how old was I? Sometime in the 90s. I was a teenager. I met I used to be a booth babe for Iron Studios Japanese animation. They sold in like 2003 or something. But yeah, I went to Dragon Con every year and some other cons too. And I stood at a booth dressed up as Lum or whatever anime character was cool and told people to buy things.
Good work if you can get it.
Yeah, it was great. It was a fantastic gig for a teenager. Oh my God. Like my sister, who's, the popular cosplayer, she, I was going with her and she was in the 90s. She was one of the top cosplayers in the nation.
Nice.
But this was like when cosplay was still super underground. Like,
right.
Yeah. Like, showing my age. I don't care. I love being over 40. I tell people all the time. I'm just I tell people anyone who's sassing me, I'm like, I'm over 40. And they're like, oh, I might stop sassing you. I'm like, yes, go away.
It's like that.
Wait till you're over 50.
I relish it. I'm just like, this tells people I will not put up with your BS.
Right. It gets even worse. Just telling you.
It's that line in Fried Green Tomatoes. I'm older and I have better car insurance.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it is 100% true. There is a certain liberation with being older.
Yeah, it's really lovely. And my sister doesn't like it because she doesn't like to tell people her age.
Oh.
But people who know us know that I'm the younger sister, and then I'm saying how old I am, and she's like, stop that. And I'm like, you should be proud. You look amazing. Stop it.
Right. I mean, my dad had me when he was 50. So we would be like at the grocery store, and somebody would go, oh, your granddaughter is so cute. And he would look at them and go, she is mine. And then he might follow up with an expletive.
Yeah.
But not the F word. He did not like the F word. He was from that generation.
Oh.
So. Yeah.
Well, the studies show that people who curse more are actually more honest and more trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Dolly Parton says it's okay.
Yeah. And if Dolly says it's okay.
Right. It's okay.
It's okay.
So. Oh, can we have a moment of silence for poor Dolly's husband who passed away?
Oh.
They were together 60 years. Married for 60 years. I mean, that man knew how to hide because there's so few pictures of them. He never went on the road with her, but I mean, any two people that can tolerate each other for that long deserves a thumbs up.
I think honestly, a lot of it, and I think, missing each other is a big part of that too. Like, I feel like that's a problem in a lot of modern relationships is that even if you're not physically together, there's social media and, our tiny pocket computers that keep us in contact all the time. And it's like, you don't get a chance to miss that person. And it makes a relationship more stressful, quite frankly.
My sister and brother-in-law are together almost 24/7 and have been for decades. Like that's their preferred method. And I'm like,
that's rare, I think.
And Shane and I looked at each other and said, no. Like just no. I mean, we both love each other, but we like some space.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah. So Diva said the same thing. Dolly was there on Johnny Carson and said basically the secret of success is staying away from each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and he never prevented her from living her own life and pursuing her own dreams.
Yeah.
And
that's so important.
It is. I mean, So you write romance.
I write dark fantasy.
Dark fantasy with romance underneath someplace.
Yes, with romantic subplots. I have my Raashan trilogy is definitely dark epic fantasy, and I who doesn't love a little romance? Who doesn't love a little, like
some romance?
A little romance. I'm more of a slow burn kind of romance person. I'm not super graphic. Because I honestly prefer to read that, so that's what I'm gonna write. I love a slow burn. Yeah, I do, and I love it. I get, and I also, so the first book in the Raashan trilogy is how the couples are meeting and your classical thing, but then the next two books actually go on and they have adventures, and there's, things to kill, and evil to vanquish. But like, important. They're married and they're having kids and they're going through.
Oh, that's great.
They're going through relationship, and the other
precisely.
So there's still romantic elements, but it's relationships that are more established, which I feel is kind of missing.
Yes, we don't have a lot of that.
Books about relationships. They only talk about the beginning of a relationship in most of them, and then they get married and they're like, that's all done. It's like, no, actually, that's like just the beginning. That's like the trailhead of the relationship.
No, it's true that once you're past the romance part. So am I echoing for either of the two of you?
It was there for a second, but now it's not.
I just wanted to check, because that would be crappy to have an entire stream of Tyra the Echo.
Tyra from the Swiss Alps, yes.
Which will never I might go visit from the bottom, but I'm not doing any climbing.
You can take a picture in front of the mountains.
I'm for that.
Yeah.
So how did you go from history major to writing dark fantasy?
Well, so I have always loved fantasy. Obviously, like many writers, my first bookworm love was fantasy books.
Which one?
Dragonlance series.
Okay.
The whole series. The first ones I read them in character order instead of the order in which they were written. So I started with the Meetings Sextet series, where anyway. And I love Dragonlance with all my heart, and I still reread those books. And Tanis Half-Elven is my forever book crush. And 11-year-old me was right, and I'm still right. I still 100% yes to him.
With what not to put him out there, but with what little you told us before show about your husband, would you say you married your dark half elf?
Well, Gunnar looks nothing like Tanis. My husband is a dark Filipino man, and Tanis Half-Elven is a tall redhead. So physically, absolutely not. But they do share some personality traits. Yeah, they share some personality traits, though not. I wouldn't say I did necessarily. They share the things that they some of them, not all. Yeah. But I love Gunnar. He's wonderful.
but I love Gunnar.
Who can live up to a fantasy?
That's true.
Right.
I don't hold him to that standard. It's okay.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That is true, though. What's written in romance books is not always what is reality.
No. Well, and Dragonlance is just fantasy, but they have they have, of course, some people have romantic relationships and things like that. And even as a kid, one of the things I liked about Tanis was that he is flawed and he makes mistakes. And he's a half elf, but he's human. He's not perfect, but the character is very honest and stalwart and honorable. And when he does make a mistake, he says, okay, I made a mistake. And he's accountable. And even as a kid, I was like, oh my God, thanks. Just being accountable, because a lot of our heroes in fictional stories
are not.
And I was super attracted to an honorable, accountable man he was super strong, of course, and heroic and everything, but he also had emotions, and he would cry at certain things. And I was just like, I don't know why, but I don't know, maybe 11-year-old me was very emotionally mature or something, but I was very into it. And looking back, I'm like, I'm still really into it. This guy's, yeah, he's got it going on. He's like emotionally available and responsible.
But Gunner's okay. You love him.
Gunner's fine.
He's fine.
I love my husband. He came with a cat who I love to be, it's great. It's great.
Mine came with a dog, so.
Yeah, you gotta, their accessories are nice with the live ones.
It's a total selling point.
It is. It is. But yeah, that's how I started out, is I just got obsessed with that. And when I was in 8th grade, I wrote my first book, which I will not share with people, but it is in like 4 spiral bound notebooks.
Oh
and
my gosh.
Yeah, I still have it. And it's basically like the classic thing when you're super geeked out on a certain world and universe, and you make yourself a character and you put yourself in that universe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
We
so
all
I did
Sue.
that. Yeah. But
mine was Star Trek fanfic.
Oh, nice.
Next Generation, Worf. I like bad boys.
Yeah.
Good bad boys.
I always liked Lando from Star Wars. Star Trek, I'm a Spock girl.
Oh, okay.
He
was a little too unemotional for me. I'm an emotional hotcase, so Worf is perfect.
Hey, in the Zarabeth episode, he went primitive and he like lost his feeling. And then there are a couple episodes where he was emotional.
Yeah. I'm just not into controlling it.
Tyra, what was your first fantasy novel book series?
Oh, The Hobbit, for sure. The Hobbit, and then Anne McCaffrey's series was the next one, and then I found Isaac Asimov and science fiction, and then his mystery books. So I always joke that I was growing up reading Asimov, Tolkien, and Agatha Christie.
Yeah,
I read those as well.
I was about to say, Charles, what was your intro to the world of fantasy?
The Bible.
That is actually a good read. I will say it gets crazy. There's some nuts crap in there. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, the way some of those stories were told, and I'm not kidding. I mean, that was a lot of my childhood was the Bible, and the way some of the stories are told or recounted, or this, that, and other, is like that. It's average. For fantasy, I honestly don't remember what I hit first, but I did end up reading McCaffrey for a while. Crystal Singers.
Yes, I read Crystal Singers.
Yeah, I read that one, and I didn't read a ton of hers, but the Dragon Riders never quite grabbed me.
Crystal Singers was better, yeah.
The Crystal Singers I liked, and then I read some Isaac Asimov of Lion's Pride, and the one before that. They made a movie out of the one about the kids. Ender's Game.
Yes.
The movie's okay, actually. The movies are, but so that, and then science fiction was really more my style, but also lots of Agatha Christie grown up, and then Hardy Boys.
Yes, and Nancy Drew. Did anybody read the Bobbsey Twins?
Yep, Bobbsey Twins.
Not really. I wasn't really. Yeah, I did read Agatha Christie and stuff, but the teen books kind of missed me. I went.
Yeah.
They're very old school. Like,
my sister was reading them. She would read Sweet Valley High and all that, and the Babysitters Club. And I just.
I'm too old for
I
that.
just skipped it. I went from like C Spot Run to Death Be Not Proud, and it was.
It explains so much about the dark fantasy.
When I was 10 years old, I found it on the bookshelf, and my mother saw me when I was halfway through it, and she was like, "Hollis, this is a very serious book. Are you okay? Like, that's a real story about a boy who died from tumors in his brain, told by his father who had to watch him die slowly." And I was like, "Yeah, this is a good book." And she was like, "You're 10."
Apparently, your mama didn't send you to public school, because public school had to read Flowers for Algernon, and they could eat a book. I can't say what I want to say.
Yeah. I remember that.
That's a horrible story to read when you're 10 or 12 or whatever.
There's some great.
Or the Scarlet Letter.
Oh God, yes.
We read that one when I was in 4th grade when I read that one. That one was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oddly, no, I'd like to judge a book by its cover. And so I picked up, no, you're really going to laugh at this one. I read it because of its cover. Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged.
Oh,
Atlas with the art, like, oh, this must be like some Greek mythology. It was not, but it opened my mind. It broke me and it rebuilt me as I read through it. So yeah.
That was
and then I read Fountainhead.
Oh my God, Fountainhead.
Yeah.
How old
I actually liked it, weirdly, but yeah.
Okay, well, you are weird.
14, 15.
Yeah, that's
really young.
That's an impressionable age.
That explains so much.
Yeah.
I read 1984 and 1984.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I read 1984.
I never wanted to read Fountainhead
4th grade,
because do you remember the movie? You remember the movie Dirty Dancing? And the waiter who was a jerk who got Penny pregnant and tried to all these other things. He offered the book Fountainhead. He was like, "Baby, you should read this." And it was the book Fountainhead. And I was like, I never want to read that. That jerk likes that book.
What is funny is I don't even know who wrote that line, but there's no way that dude ever read Fountainhead and would recommend it to anybody. No. He watched the movie Nerds and thought it was Fountainhead.
Man, Nerds. Those were good films. But there were 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyra, that was a 80s movie that was very gratuitous nudity, but very, very funny at the same time.
You see, that's all that kind of humor Tyra does not get.
It can be argued.
Some of the gross humor too, but it wasn't so bad. Like, it was belching and stuff, but it wasn't like, because I don't like
farted t-shirt.
Like sophomore humor, I'm not exactly a fan of.
I'm not a fan of it, but like some of it, yes. I don't like poop stuff. I don't like poop and I don't like vomit, but like I'll go with the fart joke. I'll go with the other stuff. I don't like when there's physical manifestation of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, don't.
It's like Bridesmaids. You didn't like Bridesmaids.
Yeah, that scene I'm not a fan. Like, I get why other people think it's funny, but I'm just like, anyone who's had that terrible situation in their body they just feel pain for the character.
Oh yeah, there's that. Would you say, Hollis, that Revenge of the Nerds was kind of the opening of making geek stuff more mainstream? Because the nerds win, Tyra. That's the whole thing. It's nerds versus jobs.
They get the hot chicks. They get everything. Yeah. I honestly, maybe that does kind of make sense to me. I come from a very kind of nerdy family. Like, so I always thought that nerds are super cool because that's my people. That's my genetic blueprint. It's like, my parents,
DNA.
Yeah, they went to the opening night of Star Wars in 1977, and my mother was like 7 months pregnant with my sister, but they were there waiting in line opening night. Like, she's like super pregnant, but she was like, "No, we're waiting, we're watching the film. I'm gonna hold it. It's gonna be fun." So we always did that stuff, but yeah, I think Revenge of the Nerds definitely was starting to go. And then, David Bowie came in with The Labyrinth, and everybody loves David, because who doesn't love David Bowie?
Right.
Forever and a day.
If you go back and watch that movie as an adult, both it and Dirty Dancing, you realize that he was rather creepy in Labyrinth, like creepy on the ooh.
Yeah, it's a little, it's quite inappropriate because Jennifer Connelly was 13.
Yes,
when they made that film, and I know he's a goblin king. I know he's not human, right. And yeah, but
it's creepy from, it's sort of like Dirty Dancing when you go back and look at it and go, oh yeah, there was a lot of things being said in that movie that had nothing to do with dancing.
Well, I think a lot of that Dirty Dancing, because it was set in the 1960s, 64. Yes. Yeah. And it was like, I think I like to think that they were showing the times as well, because people got away with saying a lot more things back then, and when women just wouldn't call them out on it, because if you did, then you were putting yourself in danger, essentially. And you still are sometimes today, but it's better now.
Go watch Dirty Dancing. You'll see it entirely differently.
Yeah.
As an adult. Yeah. So what is your favorite movie, since we've gone off the rails and left books? Oh,
that is such a question.
Okay, what's your favorite fantasy or science fiction movie? I'll narrow the genre choice down.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Maybe
you know what? I'm going to go left field for you.
Ooh, go.
I'm going to go really left field. And because I recently rewatched it, I'm going to go with Flight of Dragons.
Oh.
Which is a 1984 animated film.
Okay, I have not seen Flight of Dragons.
It's fantastic. I rewatched it. It was one of my ad nauseum movies when I was a child. Like, like had the entire thing memorized from start to finish, could say every line, every character, voice, da-da-da. Flight of Dragons, 1984. The animation's beautiful. The story's amazing. I just watched it with a friend who had never seen it like a weekend ago. And I was like, yep, I was right to watch this ad nauseum. This is fantastic. It's a great story.
It's got great character actors in it too.
It's got great great voice talent. The art style's super cool. I design all my own book covers and page layouts. So like I'm into art. I draw and I paint and I do all that. And really into their art style, and they actually have a scientific explanation for how dragons fly and breathe fire, which is super cool and makes total sense.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I just looked it up and I don't remember it, but I think it might be on Amazon. So.
Yep. It's there, and you can watch it for free on YouTube, or you can rent it. Like if you watch it for free, you've got to deal with like commercials and stuff, but you can also rent it or buy it on YouTube without having to do any of that. So, yeah, but I do, and it has a very sweet, amazing 80s intro song for Flight of Dragons.
Don't we love 80s music?
Gotta love it. Yeah, it's got a really good like bridge, and it's got all the good 80s tunes tropes, like yeah.
Yeah, you just know when you hear that guitar that something good in 80s is going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not quite as good as the theme to Neverending Story, but like you'll sing along with it. That's one of the best movie themes of all time, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. You still get jazzed every time you hear it. You're just like, yes. You're like, you can feel yourself riding Falcor and like putting those bullies in the dumpster. It's fantastic.
What do you think about the new Neverending Story coming out?
I wasn't planning on watching it.
That's fair enough.
Certain things, I probably will, but I don't know. And maybe I don't know if you all feel the same, but there are certain things I'm like, why are we remaking this? It was so well done in the first place.
Right.
Like,
just don't
have a new idea. Like, honestly, pick a different
continue it on. Right. So there's a Neverending Story 2. It was decent. It didn't have the impact. To me, it didn't have the impact the first one did, but it still holds up. It's still good. Yeah. My kids have all watched both of them. Do a number 3. Just bring it forward. Let's not restart it. Hopefully, it's because somebody like Devo here says the Neverending Story definitely plays better in the mind's eye. And I think some of that's just cinematography and effects at the time and that kind of thing. So somebody might go, okay, love the story. Let's just make it with today's technology. But it never plays out that way. It never is just a love story to what I grew up with. It becomes usually something worse.
Yeah. Well, and have either of you ever read the book, The Neverending Story?
I have not.
No.
It's excellent. And I read it years ago, but what you discover is that, of course, the main thing is still the same, where everybody needs to save Fantasia. But the whole thing with Atreyu, that's only one of 9 heroes So you have 9 different stories going in different directions, like I think the directions of the 9 winds. And
tell me that story.
Yeah, well,
I mean, on movies, like do that movie.
Yeah,
let me see all the other stories.
And that's the thing, is they have all the in the book has offshoot, like Atreyu is just one, but he gets equal attention to the other 9 in the book that also have their own journey to save Fantasia in a totally different fantastical way. And it's like, and there are, of course, so many different like inhabitants, like zebra centaurs and, you know, all these other crazy amazing things. And the book is really, really fantastic. I saw a first edition of it once at a fair. I could not afford it, but I was like checking that bank account, man, and wondering how responsible I felt. Like, because technically I could have bought it, right? Technically,
you're an adult, yes.
Look, Hollis, responsibilities for idiots. You should have bought the book.
Well, and I was in my 20s at the time, so it was a much tighter margin than it would be now. Like now, I would have been like, it's okay. I don't need like something fancy this month. But yeah, then it was like, do I want to eat this week?
I don't know. It still seems like
I should have. Well, and honestly,
I probably would have made the same decision you made, but it feels like, in retrospect,
well, and it
skip some meals.
The book was originally written in German by a German author, so it was in German because it was a first edition, and I don't speak German, which is another reason I was like, okay, you can't even read this,
right?
But now, how amazing it is! Like, look at my podcasting book on the wall.
Look at how beautiful my first edition of Neverending Story is. It cost me my meals for a week.
I imagine I know the answer, but I'll let you answer. Devo asks, is the movie based off the book or the book off the movie?
The movie is based off the book. The book was written, like, I want to say 1800s, maybe. Okay. It was written before television. So an Atreyu is just one of the plot lines within the book. Which I went to the library, shout out to the libraries, and I got myself a nice English copy of it, and I read that. And then I was late returning it because I didn't want to give it back. But the book was I'd have to look it up to tell you exactly, but the book was written quite a long time before movies were a thing.
Yes, it's been around.
Yeah.
And I just checked and saw that the book that I have on hold at the library, I'm still number 4 in line. In case anybody needed to know. Just wanted to put that out there.
It's a tough life waiting for the book to come to you.
It's true. I'm also trying to see if they have when the book was written. Cobb County Library for all of us. Well, certainly it wasn't 2001. So, we're going to say Tyra failed on this, and you're just going to have to believe that it was a long time ago.
Okay, it was a long time ago. Yeah. So, wait, what, are you looking up the Neverending Story or a different book?
I was looking up Neverending Story.
Yeah, no, it was written
long time.
It was written a while back. Like the first edition that I had, it was a leather bound with yellowed pages, and it was pretty, but old fashioned, very old. Like it was, I mean, like not like Middle Ages old, but yeah, it was.
I don't know. Middle age is really old now. I mean, I'm revising my ideas about that as we speak.
Ancient Babylonian old. Is that really that old? I mean, so Hollis, you obviously have a passion for stories and out of all different mediums and for storytelling. A lot of us take that out in different ways. Yeah, obviously I'm a podcaster, host, this kind of things. What drove you to be an author? I mean, we heard you say you wrote your first book in 8th grade or whatever, but what drove you to actually be an author and just keep telling your stories?
Like a lot of people who love to write, I won a bunch of little like contests in school, like high school, middle school. I won a bunch of little things. I always did great in literature class and everything. But I never really, like many people, like were told growing up, which is wrong. It's like, oh, well, a creative field is not a real job, right?
That's especially in the era we grew up in.
Right. And It's like, oh, you can do that on the side, but you need a real job. And that's what we're all told. And so that was my mindset. And then one day, and this was in 2008, and I've always been a big Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, like role-playing
cool.
person. Yeah. So I've been consistently playing since I was a child. And my best friend and I have a lot of campaigns that we do together. And I was sitting around, we just finished this amazing campaign, and I watched Becoming Jane, the movie about Jane Austen with James McAvoy and Anne Hathaway. And something like, I finished that and just like thinking about Jane Austen and how she just decided, and I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I sat down that day. I got one of my really beautiful journals that we say we're never ever gonna use because it was just too pretty. But I was like, I'm gonna use my beautiful journal that has nothing in it. And I started writing To Save a World, which is based on that D&D campaign that my best friend and I played. The characters, everything. I obviously adapted it, but it is that campaign. And I finished it, and I shared it with friends and family, and they all told me, if you do not publish this, we are coming for you.
Well, that's really good reception.
Yeah, they were like, we will beat you, and it's love in a loving way. We will hurt you violently if you do not publish this in the most loving way possible. And so yeah, I said, and it clicked, and I said, why can't I be an author? I had, at the time I was working at Kennesaw State, and I was, and I was, I just said, why not? That's what I want. That's what I've always wanted. I want to be an author. I want to be a creative. And then To Save a World came out, and honestly, it was well received. I thought it was going to be a one-off. And then the readers of To Save a World said, what's next?
Oh.
And I said, well, shit, I guess I have a trilogy to write. And now I have a Raashan series. So working on the next trilogy in the Raashan series as we speak.
Very nice. I love the covers. I know you did them, but they're very, very beautiful.
Thank you so much. I changed them a couple times. One of my really good friends, Trip Ainsworth, who's an amazing sci-fi author, he has a 12-book series out called Smoke Pit Fairy Tales. He gives me shit all the time, and I love it because I changed the covers a couple times. The original cover of To Save a World, when it was a one-off, is different, and then I changed it, and then I changed it again. And he's just like, "Are you done? Are you done? Can I stop buying your books?" And I'm like, "Yes, now I'm done. Now I'm all finished. I stopped now."
I have a brand now. It's all good.
Yes. I figured it out. It took me a minute.
It's important because people judge books by their cover, particularly when they're buying them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might get your brain broken doing that method. Just throwing it out there, everybody. Be careful. Unfortunately, I did go the other way. I picked up Dean Koontz for the first time because the wolf on his book, and he's my favorite sci-fi author now. So, but are you one of the fortunate ones who gets to write for a living?
Not yet. I'm working on it. I have a day job still at a commercial bank, and I honestly love it. And I work remotely, so that's nice.
Yay, good for you.
Yeah, I go into the office sometimes because I manage some teams, and I do try to show my face to let them know that, like, I'm not just an email. Right. I am human. And I'm watching.
They haven't outsourced you to AI yet.
Yeah, I'm not AI. I am a human. I'm watching you. What's up? Like, I'm a nice manager. I try. So I do that, but I do that only 30 hours a week. And honestly, I kind of love my coworkers. That's nice. And I love the bank I work for, and I'm behind the scenes anyway. I'm mostly I manage, but like I'm not client facing. I do all the spreadsheets. I report to the executive team, but like I don't have to talk to the clients. That's other people's problem. So I tell others to talk to the clients.
I like it.
For writers, consistent income and health care, because that's a good reason to keep a day job.
That's a good reason. And I mean, honestly, like my books, I'm gaining more traction. Everything in the dream is to no longer need the day job. But yeah, I honestly, people have asked me, oh, you're going to quit. And I'm like, I feel I kind of love my coworkers and I might cut my hours back, but I don't know if I'll leave them.
That's perfectly fine.
You start a book club with them, so you see each other once a week, and then you still. And here's my new book. You all read it. Let's talk about it in the book club.
That's right. Here we go. I have 5 books published, ready to go for book club. Let's go. Let's move forward. We've got 5 months ready to on the table.
So I just saw a meme, not a meme, a video on Reels that from a writer who writes, shall we say, spicy things.
Mm-hmm.
And they're about firemen, and her husband is a fireman. And the fireman figured out who she was and bought her book and formed a book club to discuss the book and which firefighter might be her husband.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I'm going to go hide underneath the car now.
That's hilarious.
I wonder how proud her husband was.
I know. I'm thinking he could sell that. It's sort of like,
if he's that inspiring, I mean,
right. Got the money.
If you thought Bob was good, Bob the real thing is even better. Yeah. Because there's got to be some posturing. But I was like, oh my gosh, that would be so horrible.
Yeah. Well, and do you all do book clubs? I don't know. I personally don't. Like I've tried a few times and I can do it, but I'm not good at being timely about it because of the writing and of it all. Like timing wise, it doesn't work so well for me.
I have ADD.
I'm a podcaster. I don't read. I'm always talking on a microphone somewhere.
Hey, there's some really good podcasts out there. I was just listening to one of my favorite podcasts while I worked all day today. And
okay, so what's your favorite podcast that you were?
And she's going to say Wise and Nerdy, where fatherhood meets fandom, right? That's yeah. No, okay, just
no. That's Messed Up, an SVU podcast.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That SVU is fairly messed up.
Yeah, yes. It's two comedians who are best friends, Cara and Lisa do it, and they are obsessed, and they recap an SVU episode, and then they talk about the true crime that inspired the messed up things that happened on that SVU episode. And then they interview an actor from the episode.
Very nice.
Yeah, because they're in the world, so they're connected, and it's really exciting because they've gotten BD Wong, they've gotten Stephanie March, they've gotten core cast. They haven't gotten Mariska or Mariska Hargitay or Christopher Maloney
yet.
There's always a time,
but they've gotten Dan Folek. They've gotten core. They've gotten core cast members. It's pretty darn cool. Yeah.
I'll have to give it a listen. One of my favorites just started new episodes for the first time in a couple of years. So if you like David Tennant does a podcast, and season 3 is finally out.
Oh my God, I love David Tennant. Okay, I have to listen to that.
Oh my God, he is so, I want to be him when I grow up to be an interviewer. He is amazing at his ability to weave the story and the questions and
he's so animated. His face and he's so animated.
And humble, and he's fabulous.
He's a good Scotsman. Gotta love him. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And he would walk 500 miles in a kilt to host the BAFTAs.
Yeah. And my favorite doctor, like many people, he's I know a lot of people, he's their favorite doctor, but he's my favorite doctor too. So
I love him.
Yeah.
So I am making my husband a Tom Baker scarf that I was going to try to get done before Stellar Fest and surprise him, but that ain't happening.
Oh, I'm going to be at Stellar Fest. Are you going to
be at Stellar? We're going to be at Stellar Fest.
Oh,
happy announcements, everybody.
Hey, guess what? Charles and Tyra and Hollis are all going to be at Stellar Fest, and you should join us. Mm-hmm. And I will get a link, and Charles will throw it up in the chat because that's his job.
Absolutely, that's what I do. So be awesome together. This show right here will be doing live at Stellar Fest, as well the Wise and Nerdy, and then my game show, and then Tyra. We always jump on other panels as well.
Yeah,
so
I'll be somewhere. I don't know where yet.
Well, you two should jump on my panel, which is, okay, let me remember how I titled this. Dr. Who, like HW or WHO horror, like horror. Yeah. And it's basically a discussion on is Doctor Who sci-fi horror more than sci-fi? Because I mean, come on.
Yep.
Come on. And we're gonna point to specific characters and situations and monsters, and we're going to have ourselves a little discussion panel. So I'm very excited to lead that panel.
So I have a question. Do you know Anthony Williams?
Oh my God, that name is so familiar.
Okay, he does a Doctor Who podcast. That I have to find. And I should know what it is. It's the Fourth Dimension, maybe.
Okay,
Watchers in the Fourth Dimension. Watchers in the Fourth Dimension.
Yep.
And we actually are dragging him to Stellar Fest, my husband and I. So
nice.
Anthony's great. He's a little Brit.
I'll have to meet him because the name I think is familiar because I listened to the podcast because I don't think I've ever met him. Yeah.
No, you'll love him. He's hysterical.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm like, I know. I know it's only a month away.
I know. I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
Not prepared at all.
For everybody, Stellarfest, .org, I think it is.
I always have to look it up.
Oh, thank you. You did. It's
I did my job. You didn't do your job.
I was listening. That's my job. Is to sit here and look pretty and listen. So, but yeah, you can go over to stellarfest.org and get your tickets. They're very, very affordable. Is that way? Would you call it a cozy con, Tyra?
It's what we would refer to, for those of us who've been doing cons for way too long, a relaxicon.
That's it, relaxicon.
Relaxicon. So it's $26, people, for 3 days. $26. Go get yourself a ticket. You can. It's their first time. They're the same people who put on Conjuration. If you knew that, it's the one that happens in the fall. But it is super reasonable priced. It's really nice people, and you cannot beat $26 for a 3-day special rate membership. So, but at the door, it's $40. So don't wait.
And Hollis, are you gonna be selling your books there?
I did assign. I just got an email for approval for the panel, and they didn't say anything about the author table I applied for. So I just emailed them back and asked. I was like, no. So the plan is yes, and I'll see. But I'm excited, and I'll have my best friend who I play Dungeons and Dragons with there helping me man the table.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I said, well, come help me man the table, and
you should do a one-shot.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Is Bob going to be there?
Bob Magoo?
Do you know Bob Magoo?
I don't know. I think he said he was going to try to make it. I was chatting with him a couple weeks ago.
We'll have to shoot some. Everybody knows Bob, but Bob has yet to be on the show. Bob, if you're out there.
I know he's got his own podcast and things, but come on, Bob. Actually, I'm supposed to be on one of Bob's podcasts. I need to
Did he contact you? Bob, you haven't contacted me.
Well, no, he and I chatted about it at Conjuration.
Oh.
And then we've emailed back and forth a little bit, but I don't think we've actually chosen something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know he's revamping a few things.
He is.
That man is always hustling. He's always out there.
Bob knows how to hustle. Him and Ben Meeks.
God, yeah, I love Ben.
Ben is a sweetheart. I need to get Ben and Bob and Vanessa.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to get all through. We need to have a writer's night. We'll write you. We'll just have writer's time. Kick Charles to the curb, and the writers will take it.
You can moderate. All the writers.
Moderate.
We compliment each other.
I had to sit between Charles and Bob at Chattacon and try to control the.
And she did very well. She did very well.
Sweet. I just prayed a lot.
You just let it flow. You just let it flow. Bob's got some amazing stories. He really does. He'll tell you, like, he'll just be like, then I was driving this road and I, like in Nowheresville, Alabama, and I got out and I found myself like a bag of diamonds. I don't know.
He's going to speak to my class in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And Charles set him up with the, redneck meth wizard.
I guess he goes, what should you tell people? What should they ask Bob about? What redneck meth wizards? And Elder Sue was like, what? We had to explain it.
Yeah.
But then we use them as examples of how
Hawaiian shirts and jorts. Let's not forget the outfit.
Oh my God. No, I try hard to forget that outfit.
Hey, Bob dresses in it every con. I need you to respect.
He really does.
Bob has embraced everything, and I'm going to drop his link over here for you too, Charles, because I think if we're going to talk about Bob, we should at least.
It's Tales by Bob.
It's Tales by Bob.
Yep, and the possum familiar, and he's wonderful.
And he's helpful. So a lot of indie writers don't share, and Bob is very open about his success and his failures as an indie writer, because there's a whole set of challenges. Like for you, what's been the most challenging thing about being indie?
Honestly, just exposure. And I was in marketing, like you. I was in marketing. Like I was after I left KSU, the private sector I went into I was a PM for marketing and branding agencies.
Nice.
For a while, because we didn't have a budget in global admissions at KSU, so I used to design all the brochures and things.
Oh yeah, no, I understand completely what you're saying.
Yeah. So I used to do all that. And I used to design in college and draw Lady Death and stuff like that to pay for groceries. Princess Leia in the gold bikini got me through a lot of financial problems.
I could say that.
Thank you to people who bought all of those artwork pieces. But
thank you, Karen.
Yeah, honestly, just exposure, because I thought going into it, I was like, well, I know marketing. This will be fun. But book marketing is a world of difference from corporate marketing, which is what I was doing. Number one, I don't have the budgets, right?
Oh, shucks.
Yeah. I don't have $5,000 to throw at something randomly or more. And I don't have the budget. And even though I'm my own designer and all this other jazz, it's just exposure, just getting people. Once I get my books in the hands of people and they read them, I get amazing feedback and hooray. But and I've won awards and I'm a Book Fest bellwether and all these things. People like me if they know I exist. They like me. They just have to understand that I am an author out in the world, and that's to me the most challenging. But the writing part is, of course, the whole point is the fun part. That's what I like to do. So
how do you make writing part of your days when you're working full time? You have a marriage. I assume you like your husband, like to spend time with him, going to cons.
I heard he's okay.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've heard he's not as cool as that elf guy, but
he's not. Tannis half elven's pretty awesome, but
it was good. It was a good human choice.
It's an excellent human choice. Yes, 100% behind him. He loves sci-fi and fantasy as well.
Oh, you see, that's good.
He gets it. I handwrite all of my first drafts.
No, you don't.
Yeah, first draft.
Sister.
And in cursive.
Wow.
Oh, I'm a true gentleman.
Wow.
I handwrite in cursive first drafts of nonfiction, but fiction I type.
Oh, interesting. Different brain space.
Yeah, different. And usually if it's nonfiction, like social media nonfiction, I type. But if it's memoir nonfiction, I handwrite. But I can't believe you do fiction handwrite.
I do fiction handwrite, and my and this is what I'm currently working on, which is the next trilogy in the Raashan series. But that actually helps me because I feel most creative. So I can carry my book around.
True.
And I don't have to have Wi-Fi. I don't have to have a laptop or anything like that. That first draft, I can carry this around with me. And whenever I have a free moment, I've got to wait in a line. I've got to I can work on it. And that's really helpful. Also, I work 30 hours a week for the bank. And then I always budget, and I have to budget time. I'm a little type A when it comes to that.
Oh, so what do you do? Come on, tell me.
Yeah, I'm a damn good project manager. So I project manage myself quite well. I budget my own time. So I have at least 10 hours a week budgeted out for writing. and marketing of my personal books, and I do my cover designs and all that other stuff. So yeah, I just budget my time, and then every Saturday is a writing day, and then usually Sundays I try to make a writing day as well.
Oh,
and
okay.
And Gunnar will come with me because I like to write at cafes.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, I'm a cafe writer. I like the stuff.
We should meet at a cafe sometime.
Yes,
I don't even know if we're close to each other, but we should figure that out.
I'm in Swanee.
We could figure it out. I'm in Kennesaw.
Figure it out. I'm like 10 minutes away from Stellarfest.
Oh my gosh. I'm 10 minutes away from KSU.
Yeah. But there are beautiful cafes. There are lots
we could connect in the middle.
Connect. I've got friends in Kennesaw still. I can go over there.
I like a good drive.
Yeah,
I drive 2 hours to get my hair done. I'll drive for coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. Coffee and writing time, 100%. Let's do that. I would love that.
When we get off of here, we're scheduling that, people. We'll let you know how it goes.
Yay! But yeah, so I'll do that, and Gunnar will come with me, and he sits with, because he has stuff he likes to work on. He's always like studying for another certificate. He enjoys. He's a constant learner, which I enjoy about him.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's always like, and right now he's really into photography, and so he's like learning a lot about like photography and doing different things and going out with his camera. So like we'll go to a cafe, and now he likes to take like candids of just people living lives and doing that, and like the making of the coffee and whatever. And so we'll chill at a cafe, and he might come and go a little bit, and I'll just sit there and get it done. And then, yeah. But awesome. That's just it. And then it's honestly, then it's just blocking my time to make sure that I make my own schedule and I make my own deadlines. So yeah gotta block your time.
I suck at it so bad. Because, and you know, when you're a teacher or professor, it's not 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, it's all the time. It's trying to figure out when am I going to grade, and sometimes I just put it as not a priority, and I really need to. And I think by scheduling your time, that's what you're doing, is you're putting it as a priority.
Yeah. And I had to learn to do that. The first 2 books that I wrote, first 3 books that I wrote, it was wild. I got them done. I'm very proud of them now, but you know, I was in the weeds. It was a little, you know, I was a little feral about it, but it was okay. I got it done. And then I just realized, I said, okay, if I want this to be my career, I need to treat it like a career. And what do I do for myself for my day job?
Right.
That's what I need to start doing for my writing.
That's an excellent approach, no matter what that side hustle is.
Yeah. If you want it to be your main thing, if you want that to become the thing, then you have to treat it that way. You have to treat it like the career, and not, and that shift, that really, that opened up whole new worlds to me. And it's crazy. Well, and I'll show you, I actually, so I love this. I'm a member of a female entrepreneurs group, and they showed me, like, they were like, highlight your stuff in order of priority. So this is like a to-do list that
we're on the list, Charles.
Yeah, I see that. We're highlighted yellow right there. Yeah.
The FU is follow up with.
No, I like it. I think it's
funny because it's also, you know,
other things.
It's funny. It's anyway.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, but like green is money, right? So I have it prioritized by numbers. Whoops. I have it like numbers prioritized, and then colors, and the color, like green is money, yellow is social / exposure. That, you know, and I've got them all situated, and the things that make money are probably going to be your number 1 priorities.
Yeah.
And then, but, you know, there are other things that are social that are also number 1 priorities. But, you know, it's like it all kind of balances out. And then organizing your list by priority and what makes you money first makes a huge impact. And I've just started doing this the past couple of months, and I have already seen a difference. And I'm working on collaborations with other people. One of my friends in the women's entrepreneur group, she has a body butter line called Teddy Bear Body that's amazing. And Tyrell, share it with you.
No, we talked about this. Who did I talk to about this?
It was me. You and I talked about it at Conjuration.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes. I will send you the link. I love it. It's all cruelty-free, vegan, She hand mixes it. Beautiful ingredients. I am very bougie about it now. It's the only body butter I use now.
Yeah.
But coming out in a couple weeks, there will be the Raashan scents of Teddy Bear Body.
Ooh, I love that.
So we have all of that, and we're going to sell them in bundle, like the body butters and the books. And they're, you can do like 1 book and 3 body butter or whatever. We've got bundles with the pricing. And we're super excited. And my friend Lyric, who owns Teddy Bear Body, loves my books. That's why, and so we collab. And
she's got to find a shapeshifter romance writer that has a bear line. I'm just saying, there's a cross promotion there that would just, you could write that in.
In our back channel, Cause put a link to a map of all the coffee shops in the Atlanta area.
I need that website. That's a good website. Yes, you can find some cool things. Oh my God.
What is this? What is this wonderfulness?
You find some cool stuff. That's how I found Bold Monk Brewing Company in Atlanta. If you haven't, and this is shameless plug for just a place that I love.
I love shameless plugs.
Yeah, Bold Monk Brewing Company, and they're in Atlanta. They brew their own beer. They're award-winning beer brewers.
Why do I know?
They make excellent coffee. They have a beautiful library and book club.
What?
It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, and their brunch is amazing, and their food is really delicious. And they have a beer garden. And last time I was there, they had like a caricature artist in the beer garden, just like for people who wanted to like have characters drawn while they were having brunch. And it was,
where is this?
It's
Ellisworth Energize. I've got an address, people. I'm ready.
I'm friends with Kaz. You're friends with the brewer.
What?
Old Monk.
Kaz.
What? West Midtown. Kaz. You got a hookup, because I just found that place via the website that you posted and a few months ago, and I have been back like 5 times. It's so good.
So Kaz is obviously our new best friend.
Obviously.
We need a hookup, girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
She's a connector in Atlanta.
That's
for sure.
True. Especially I'm not a beer drinker, but you had me at that they brew coffee.
They brew and the brunch, I'm telling you, Tyra.
It's good. I love a good brunch.
So good.
And
delicious.
Announcement for all our regulars, Davi can stay by himself for over 3 hours now.
Also, for the regulars, Shelf Watch 2025, there's still no shelf put up behind Tyra.
No. We're getting closer. We've had conversations. It's on the priority list. It depends on the weather. So we are getting there. But the front porch has to be replaced first if the weather's good, because somebody's going to go through a board if we don't. So
I was about to say, how does the weather affect an indoor shelf?
That's why. So, but if it rains, there's a good chance that Shelf Watch 2025 could change.
That the same porch you let me stand out there for 20 minutes yesterday?
It wasn't
the one that anybody could go through a board?
It was like 3 or 4 minminutes while I finished curling my hair, damn it.
Yeah, but when you're, what was Mark say? When you're 7'13" and you're the world's biggest giant, anybody go through a board. I feel a little threatened now. I feel like you're waiting for the trap door to fall out, so I wouldn't have to be there.
You were okay, Charles. I would never do that before you're supposed to come to my class and talk.
I would still do it from the hospital.
You survived.
Yeah. Oh, that is the most telling of our generation. But did you die, Charles? Did you die?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Where's the blood?
It's off. That's
yeah. So, speaking of walking off, it is that time.
It is. So I'm not ready.
I know, but we get to hang out with Hollis in a month.
I know. This is gonna be exciting, and you'll get to meet my hubby.
Yay! Yeah, I don't know if mine will come with me or not, but you'll get to meet my best friend.
So that's good.
Yeah,
and you'll get to meet my best friend. My bestie's coming too.
Oh, yay!
So, but the hubby is actually celebrating his birthday at Stellarfest.
Ooh, that's a good birthday.
I know. I
haven't gotten
him a present yet.
Yeah, you did. $26 ticket to Stillerfest. He's good.
I got it. I actually did buy his tickets. So.
Yeah.
Well, and also just go to the Dollar Tree, get some of those little ribbon poppers. Done.
Yeah.
Be like, happy birthday, pachoo, and then
there might have to be some Lafroig or something. Oh, now you guys can really see Shelf Watch. That it's my purses. So
yeah, it's all our Hermes bags up there.
I wish
Hermes.
I would not even use it.
No. These are Futurama bags. Okay, these are Hermes bags.
Okay.
So, all right, Hollis, where can they find you on the web?
Save us, Hollis.
I'll type it in here. I am at Hollis Jo McCollum author.com. And I am at Hollis Jo McCollum on the social media, on the YouTube. So just like my full name, you will find me.
And she has several podcasts that are out there.
I have 2. They are not very I need to. My personal podcast is called I Do What I Want, and it's just me.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it's just me talking about shit. Like it's books and
I love the title.
Thank you, because I do. I mean, it's my life. It's what I do. And then
sorry to interrupt. We need to get her in connection with Siska and have her do a few panels. The Dragon Con this year.
Are you in the do you come to we never really got to the answer of
she was the anime girl years ago.
I was going very regularly. I went every year for like 20 something years. I've been around with
I understand.
Dragon Con. I haven't, but this is the first year in like over 15 years that I didn't purchase my tickets a year in advance. But I don't know. There are a couple other events going on Labor Day, and I love Dragon Con, but also I'm like, my family's out in Denver, and Andesu Con is always at the same, I don't know. So I was thinking, but I'm like, if somebody wants me on a panel, and my friend Mo, who also works with panels, he might have me as a judge on a panel at Dragon Con. So I think that's another reason I didn't purchase a ticket. I was like, if I'm just going to get there as a guest anyway.
Well, then you need to fill out a form because...
Right.
To do the thing, do the intending pro things,
right?
Do the things.
Yeah, I'll do the thing, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fill out the form. And honestly, if I don't go, I'll probably show up for Saturday and just buy a day pass for Saturday. But I'm not staying at the con this year. I've gotten a little too old I feel like I've gotten too old for some of that.
I am too old to go back and forth. Not that I ever have. That's never been. That hotel room is secured. We are ready. But
if it's my hotel room, but like I don't know. I remember a few years ago I did the thing where I hadn't done it in years, where I shared with like a big group of people, and they were great people, and nothing against any of them, and I love them dearly. But I was just like in there, like I'm too old for this shit. I'm too.
If I'm not sleeping, I want to go to sleep. You're not in my room.
You're still awake. I'm not okay.
Right. No, I'm totally no. I mean, yes, we roomed with 2 youngsters a couple of years ago, and they were lovely. They were beautiful young kids. I taught his father in college. It was his son and his girlfriend, and they were delightful. And it was their first Dragon Con by themselves, and they needed a place to stay that was, reasonably safe, and we'd make sure and all that kind of. Yeah, I love them, and no. I hit a suitcase in the middle of the night getting up and broke a toe.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. No, the group rooming. I'm over it. Yeah. I'm over it, and I'll stay with other like people my age who want to go to bed, and
we sit in the lobby and drink. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, and I'll stay out, but I have a threshold. Well, and also I don't want to have a party in the room. Like, I've never been that girl anyway. I'm like, my room is my sanctuary. Like, that's the place where you're supposed to be able to retreat to when you're all done.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like party is downstairs. Go over there. Like, that is, like when it's 2:00 in the morning and I am all done, I want the room to be a safe, a quiet place for me to be all done. And maybe, but
so apply. But if you're going to come Saturday, make sure you buy your ticket before Saturday because they sold out last year, and they are not increasing the number this year.
Oh, yeah, I might just do it in the summertime. You know, I might just like a few months ahead of time go online and buy a day pass.
When they they'll come online sometime this summer, but figure it out, woman. You'd be great at the Fantasy Gather. So
yeah, well, and I've done panels at Dragon Con in the past. It's been a few years, but I've done I was one of the admins for Cosplay Volunteers of Atlanta for a while, and I did a bunch of that.
Did you ever know Shane Burton?
Yeah.
That's my husband.
Oh, I've met Shane.
Shane was previously married to a lady by the name of Misty.
Okay.
They'd been divorced for a long time, and Shane and I met at Dragon, but he was with the cosplay people for a long time.
Okay. Yep.
So is Shane sarcastic?
I don't think we hung out. I know I met him a few times, but I don't think we hung out to the point where I can tell you. I don't recall.
She's being so safe here.
Safe answer. Tyra, where can they find you on the web?
TyraBurton.com, or you can go to that lovely link tree that Charles just threw up, but he did not throw up physically because that would have, our guest would not have liked that.
That would have been gross.
Yeah. That would be gross. But TyraBurton.com is where you can find me on all the socials. I will be at Stellar Fest with Charles and Hollis in April, and I'm trying to write a book. I got a tired download of a plot the other day, so I'm ready. Let's go.
You got this. Yes.
So.
Nice.
So, Charles, where can they find you?
You can find me at linktree/RGOP42. It's got just about everything that I do and all facets of life linked over there. My website, all that jazz, which I still need to update my website and get that done. And, of course, you can follow everything we do with this show and the digital media track at linktree/DC digital media track. And it is such a good time. Hollis, it has been a great time having you on. I knew it was going to be a blast. I'm glad that you followed up and you FU'd with Charles and Tyra.
FU'd with Charles and Tyra. That's right.
Use that.
I crossed it off because remember everyone.
We're all FU'd out.
That's right. Well, follow up and join us on Discord, people.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I absolutely loved it.
You're welcome.
Yay. What are we doing next week, Charles? Do you know?
No, have no idea. So you know what? Actually,
I know what we're doing next week.
Okay, what are we doing next week?
Dave is coming from Flicker Effect.
Dave from Flicker Effect. I know exactly what we're doing. We're going to be awesome together. So all of you come out and be awesome with us. See you next week, Tyra.
See you, Charles. Thanks, Hollis.
Thank you.